Good morning, viewers. We are from Government Degree and PG College, Adilabad. Now let me introduce our team to you people. This is Harshapriya.
Good morning, viewers.
And this is Imran.
Good morning,
BSc
one and all.
MPCS third semester. And this is Sohail Khan, BSc MPC.
Good morning,
third semester.
everybody. Morning, everybody.
And he is Mr. D. Rakesh, BSc MPCS third
Good morning,
semester.
everyone.
Yeah. Today we are here to present our study project to you. I am immensely pleased to inform you that we bagged state level second prize in Jignasa student study projects in the year 2016 and 17. At the outset of this program, let me convey our gratitude to our Honorable Commissioner Ma'am and the staff of CCE for designing such a innovative program that enables the teachers to bring out the innate abilities of the students. Thanks to CCE once again. I feel this is the right moment to throw some light on what is actually a project and what is the procedure we have to follow in project method, because we all know that all the GDCs in the state of Telangana now are in the favor of Jignasa. Let me switch over to what is actually a project is. A project is a planned activity and a plan of action. A project is a planned activity and a plan of action that is designed to attain the predetermined objectives. A project may be an individual or may be a group one. Based on the concept of the project, a new teaching methodology has been developed, that is project method. Now let us see what is actually this project method of teaching is. This project method of teaching is a modern teaching methodology that has been evolved and developed the early 20th century. This project method of teaching is a dynamic and a democratic approach of teaching. This is based on the philosophy of pragmatism. Pragmatism is the school of philosophy that has been developed by Jean Dewey. Educationalists consider that the pragmatism is a gift to education. The pragmatism is based on two basic principles. That is, one is learning by doing, and the second one is learning by living. When a learner is asked to do something, then he will learn something. And what the learner has learned by doing, it will remain forever in the minds of the learners. That's why pragmatism concentrates on learning by doing. Project method is also based on this basic principle, that is, the student has to learn by doing something or by involving in something. And the project method concentrates on the students has to perform constructive activities in a natural condition. Now let me switch over to the definitions of this project method. The project method has been introduced by Kilpatrick, but popularized and perfected by Stevenson. Kilpatrick has given an apt definition to this project and project method. According to Kilpatrick, a project is a wholehearted, purposeful activity proceeding in a social environment. If we throw light on the definition given by Kilpatrick, he says the project should be a purposeful one, and moreover the student has to participate in the project wholeheartedly, and the entire activity should take place in a natural setting or in a social environment. If you see the definition given by Stevenson, who has popularized and perfected the project method, Stevenson rightly says a project is a problematic act carried to completion in its natural setting. So in project method, the problem we give to the students, they take up that project to solve that project and to find out the reasons for the problem in a natural setting. This is the definition given by Stevenson of project method. Now let me switch over to the steps we follow in a project method. These are the steps we have to follow while taking up any project under Jignasa that we are following now. The first step is creating a situation. Here in project method, the teacher has to create a situation for the students. The situation that has been created by the teacher may be artificial or natural. It is better the situation that is created by the teacher should be natural. If it is not possible, the teacher can create an artificial situation, and the students are asked to participate or involve in the situation, and then they are supposed to come out with a problem of themselves. That is what the second step, that is selection of the problem. If the students come with the problem themselves, it is invitable. If not, the teacher has to assign the problem to the students. Then the third step is planning. Project is nothing but a planned activity. So the third step involves that the student has to proceed in a systematic manner to carry out their project in third step, that is planning. Now the fourth step is execution. In execution, the students will come out with a conclusion based on the data they collected, and they are going to analyze the data, and they are going to represent their data graphically. The next step is evaluation. Here the students are coming to a conclusion, and they are going to show us the reasons for the problem, and they are also going to show some recommendations to us. And then the last one is the tabulation and the supporting the record or reporting and recording, the last stage. Now, we perfectly followed this method and these steps while taking up our project under Jignasa. Now, our students are very much interested to present their project before you now. Our student Harshapriya will present the introduction to our project. Over to Harsha.
Okay, sir. We, the students of Government Degree College, Adilabad, humbly submit our gratitude to Commissioner Ma'am for devising such an innovative program for us. We also convey our gratitude to our mentor, Mr. Ravi Kumar sir, for his constant cooperation to carry out this project. We are very grateful to our principal sir, Sri Jagram sir Garu, for his support to us. Thank you, sir.
Yes. Now I invite Mr. Rakesh to introduce the topic of our project.
Yes, sir. Under Jignasa, the problem we selected is spelling, a crucial aspect of English language learning, a study on the orthographic ability of undergraduate first year students of our college. Our Jignasa is to find out the spelling ability of first year students of our college and to rule out the reasons for the poor performance in spelling of the participants. We all know very well that spelling is very important aspect in all languages, especially English, because English is a non-phonetic language. There is no letter to sound correspondence. What we say, we can't write. What we write, we can't say. Therefore, we Indian learners of English face lot of difficulty in orthography of English. So, we focused on the spelling ability of first year students of our college, and we tried to suggest the steps to be taken to overcome this problem. Thank you, sir.
Well done, Rakesh. Very good. Now, Harshapriya will explain you the importance of the topic and the objectives they have kept in their mind before going to take up the project. Over to Harsha.
Okay, sir. Now, I am going to throw a light on the significance of our topic. The topic we selected for this project is apt and important because spelling is an important aspect in learning English language. Because as we know that a bad speller is a bad communicator. Getting mastery over the orthography of English is a difficult task as it is a non-phonetic language. Now, let us see some of the objectives of our project. First one, to familiarize ourselves towards the importance of spelling of English. Second one, to identify the orthographic ability of undergraduate students. Third one, to sensitize the students towards their poor spelling capability. Next slide please. To focus on the learning styles of the students towards in connection with spelling. And fifth one, to summarize the ways and means to improve the spelling ability of the students.
Okay, very good Harsha. Your objectives are apt, and will you explain the literary review of your project?
Okay sir. Now let me review the literature of our topic. English spelling is a system using written symbols to represent the spoken language. The history of English spelling begins with the origin of English in the British Isles 1500 years ago. Most of the modern languages adopt the alphabetical system of written system. That means that a letter or a letter combination stands for a particular sound. In certain languages such as Telugu and Hindi, we usually predict the pronunciation. We can usually predict the spelling from its pronunciation. But when it comes to, unfortunately, when it comes to English, there is no prediction of spelling from the pronunciation and pronunciation of spelling from spelling. And this is because English has many different ways of representing the same sound, and some letter combination as well as that can represent more than one sound. Understanding this fundamental problem, which will help us to understand the difficulties which our students may be facing. English spelling should not be confused with the English language. English spelling is our traditional way of representing the English language in the written form. There is no necessary connection between the spelling system and language system. We can spell English as we do because of a long history of decisions made by writers and printers. If the history of English speaking society has been different, its spelling system would be different. The spelling of sound is used to bring to the mind of a sound of a word. For instance, when one sees EE in the print in the word THREE, the sound E comes to the mind. The English spelling system has an alphabet in written system in which the written symbols represents the syllables. For instance, the letter P represents P and letter C represents S and K. The 26 letters of English alphabet are the raw materials used to create spelling. Thank you, sir.
Yes, very good Harsha Priya. You did very well. Now, Imran, will you explain us what is the methodology you adopted and what way you collected the data?
Yes, sir. Now, I am going to explain you what is the method we adopted. To collect the data, we adopted sampling technique in which we selected simple random sampling technique. Simple random sampling is a basic of sampling. The principle of simple random sampling is that every object has the same probability of being chosen. For this study, our target population is the 250 first year undergraduate students of a college. Out of the 250 students, we randomly selected 50 students, which is 20% in a population. Conceptually, it requires a complete sampling frame which may not be available or feasible to construct for large population. Even if a complete frame is available, more efficient approaches may be possible if other useful information is available about the units in the population. So, when it comes to the point of advantages are that it is free of classification errors and it requires a minimum advanced knowledge about the population and rather than its frame. And its simplicity also makes it relatively easy to interpret data collected in this manner. For these reasons, simple random sampling best suits situations where not much information is available about the population, and data collection can be efficiently conducted on randomly distributed items, or where the cost of sampling is small enough to implement or adjust the data. We adopted randomly sampling technique. For this study, our target population is the 250 first year undergraduate students of a college. Out of the 250 students, we randomly selected 50 students, which is 20% in a population. As we adopted random sampling technique, it was a heterogeneous group of male and female and of different mother tongues and of different educational and economic background, and also with different media. But we haven't categorized the data or our sample based on any of the above said parameters. We took into consideration that the entire sample as a whole and observed the spelling errors in writing a simple statements. And in this way, we dictated a declarative sentence to them, that is, received all my original certificates. We deliberately selected this statement because at the time of admissions after web counseling or at the time of receiving our original certificates, we were asked to write these statements and sign the register. When we observed these statements, most of the students wrote the statement with so many spelling errors, and in this way we try to analyze the data graphically. Thank you, sir.
Well done, Imran. Very good. Now, Sohail, will you analyze the data you are collected and reveal the findings for us?
Sure, sir. Now, I am going to give you the results and analysis of our project. Here, we have categorized our analysis in two different ways. Number one, student misspelled in the sentence, and number two, student misspelled in each word. Here we can see that number of students made all mistakes is 0, and number of students made one mistakes is 16, which is 38% of our selected sample, and number of students made all mistakes is 10, which is 20% of our selected sample, and lastly number of students made more than one mistake is 24, which is 48%. So nearly 50% of our selected sample have written the sentence wrongly, which means half of the students have written the sentence wrongly. So here we can see that number of students made more than one mistake is more than the number of students made only one mistake. Now, when it comes to the second category, that is student misspelled in each word, here we have a simple word receive, where 33 students have written the word wrongly, which is 66% of our selected sample. And then we have the other word, which is original, where 19 students have written the word wrongly, which is 38% of our selected sample. And lastly, we have the word certificate, where 20 students have written the word wrongly, which is 40% of our selected sample. So here students are getting confused because English is a non-phonetic language. So next slide please. For instance, if we take the word receive, here students have written IE instead of EI and S instead of C. Out of the three words in the statement, students have written mostly the wrong receive, and then the word certificate, and then the word original. Thank you, sir.
Well done, Sohail. Very good. Your analysis is super. Now let me introduce you my new participant, that is Kalyani, BSc MPC third semester. Kalyani, will you deal with the reasons and the recommendations of your project?
Certainly, sir.
Yeah.
And now I am going to explain reasons and recommendations. First of all, let us see the reasons for heterography. Heterography is nothing but misspelling. The mistakes were happened due to the influence of the mother tongue of the students. Our sample belongs to Telugu or Urdu or Hindi as their mother tongue. In Telugu, Urdu and in Hindi, there is letter to sound correspondence is there. But whereas in English, there is no letter to sound correspondence is there. For example, one letter represents many sounds. For example, the letter G is G in gun but Ju in gem, and also one sound is represented by many letters. The sound K is represented by K in kite, C in cat and CH in chemist. So next slide please. And now recommendations. First one, mispronunciation leads to misspelling. Some students are written like this. For example, original as VERIGINAL and VARGINAL. So next. Therefore, stress should be laid on pronunciation than on writing at early stage. So next slide please. And second one is encouraging mnemonics. For example, attendance. It can be remembered as 8 to 10 dance. And second example is pronunciation. In pronunciation, there is none, not a noun. And third one is knowing word origins. If we know word origins, then we can remember its spellings, meanings and usage very easily. And fourth one is adapting chunking. Chunking can be adapted by the learners. Chunking means nothing but dividing a word into short parts. For example, examination. It can be divided into examination. And second example is the hippopotamus. It can be divided into hippopotamus. Thank you, sir.
Very good. Well done, Kalyani. Now, I invite Harshapriya to conclude the project.
With my pleasure, sir. Now, I am going to conclude our project as follows. Spelling words in English is a challenging work. As a matter of fact, not only non-native speakers, many native speakers of English have problem in spelling correctly. One of the main reasons for this is that many English words are not spelled as they are spoken. This difference between the pronunciation and spelling causes a lot of confusion. It seems that the language programs of schools in particular and universities in general do not provide enough opportunity for writing practice. That is, writing home assignments, oral dictation or copying the text by hand. The English language curriculum in the universities does not offer any special program for writing practice. The curriculum of English in the universities does not offer any special programs or contact hours for the study of spelling. The study of spellings should have two ways to cope with this challenge. That is, either award contact hours or to organize the student-centered workshop for this respective challenge. So, finally, we conclude that the students should be given enough opportunity for writing practice through different media. However, this is a traditional one but suits and works. Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. You did really very good job. Now, let me sum up your project. As the topic we have selected is very apt and important in present scenario, because spelling is a crucial aspect of English language learning especially, and this is very important for the students because in first semester a 5-mark question will be asked in the examinations, in the term and examinations, and this is also very much important for the job seekers. From constable to collector, in all the examinations, English part will be there. In English part, questions will be asked on finding out the misspelled word or correction of spellings. So, in this connection, to get mastery over English orthography is very much essential. Now, what is making us, or why getting mastery over English orthography has become a hard nut to crack? First, let us throw light on this one. Now, if you see, English orthography has become a hard nut to crack, because we, the Indian learners, learn English through our mother tongue. It is fact that no Indian's mother tongue is English, so that we learn English with the help of our mother tongues. Learning English with the help of our mother tongue is unscientific and unpsychological, because as we know that every language is unique one. Every language is unique in its phonology, lexicology and in syntax. So it is very clear that there are no two languages are similar in phonology and in syntax. If we know that there is no connection between two languages in syntax and phonology, it becomes unscientific to learn English with the help of our mother tongues. So I mean to say is that if you wanted to learn English, try to learn it in English itself. This translation method will not work out. Now, English orthography has become a hard nut to crack for us, because we Indian learners least bother about written communication. We always concentrate on oral communication. Students always bother about spoken English, and even in communicative skills of English, they always concentrate on how to speak in English. Yes, of course, the oral communication in English is important. Apart from this written communication is also very much important, though you are a student, though you are a job seeker, and even after getting a job, to get mastery over written communication is very much important. So I would like to say that much concentration should be laid by the teacher as well as by the students on written communication as well as the oral communication. Now let us see one more important point, that we neglect pronunciation of English. We always concentrate on spelling and we always concentrate on grammar. But unfortunately, spelling is nothing but it is interrelated with the pronunciation. But we never concentrate on pronunciation. Pronunciation of English has been introduced only in intermediate and then in undergraduation courses only. There is not much exercise and introduction has not been made on pronunciation at school level. Even plus 2 and even in plus 3 level also, the students always try to skip this question in choice. But the interesting thing is that spelling is always related and depend on pronunciation. If a student is misspelling a word, it means that he is mispronouncing that word. Obviously, mispronunciation leads to misspelling. Now, for example, if you take the word attendance, A-T-T-E-N, D-A-N-C-E and D-E-N-C-E. If a student pronounce this word as attendance, you see the first category, first case, then the student obviously will write its spelling as A-T-T-E-N, D-E-N-C-E, because he is pronouncing that one as dense, which is mispronunciation. But its actual pronunciation is attendance. If the student pronounces this one as dance, then automatically he will write D-A-N-C-E instead of D-E-N-C-E, so that your misspelling is due to your mispronunciation. So concentration should be given to pronunciation if you want to get mastery over spelling. And then one more thing is that the misspelling leads to misunderstanding. If you spell a word wrongly, then it will send a wrong message to the reader. For example, if a student has written the flour mill, F-L-O-U-R-M-I-L-L, if he writes this spelling as F-L-O-O-R-M-E-A-L, then it creates fun and it will give a different meaning, and sometimes it will give and it will become a nonsense word to the reader. So remember always, mispronunciation leads to misspelling and misspelling leads to misunderstanding. If you communicate in written manner in more understanding way, then first concentrate on your pronunciation. Okay, if you are a good speller, then you will become a good communicator. already our students focused on that. A bad speller is a bad communicator and a good speller is a good communicator. So that concentration should be laid on pronunciation. Then, yes, this is of course how far English orthography is different and difficult. Now, let us switch over. What are the steps one has to take to make English orthography a cakewalk? Now, see this slide. Make English orthography a cakewalk. Now, the first point is that if we ask any student to write a short paragraph or an essay, whenever he is writing that, he come across a spelling of any particular word, that he is suspecting that the spelling of that word is or might be wrong, he is writing. So then what we do, we write what we know and we write what we feel is correct. And most of the time we feel that nothing will happen. What will happen if I write the spelling like this? We feel like that and then we write whatever we know. But that is the time when you suspect that you are not knowing the spelling of a word and you are suspecting the spelling of a particular word, then that is the time, then and there you have to refer a dictionary and then try to learn the correct spelling and write the correct spelling of the word. Then that spelling will be registered in your mind forever. There will be no chance to commit or made any mistake regarding that particular word in your future. The next point, learn each word individually, because each word is unique one. Each word has its own pronunciation, each word has its own spelling and its usage. If you try to remember or recall the spelling of a word with the help of its pronunciation, and if you try to pronounce a word just looking at its spelling, it will not work out. Harshapriya rightly said that there is no connection between pronunciation and spelling and pronunciation. What we write in English we can't say, and what we say and we can't write, because there are so many silent letters are there and there are so many doubling letters are there. Even the letter is double, there will be a single sound. So that's why each and every word is unique one. Try to concentrate on learning a single word and its pronunciation and its usage and its spelling. The next one, try to transform your passive vocabulary into active vocabulary. Passive vocabulary is the vocabulary or your word bank that you are encountering the word first time in your life. So when you encounter a word first time in your life, then you neither predict its pronunciation nor predict its meaning and its usage. So that if you come across any passive vocabulary, then try to concentrate how the word is going to be pronounced and what is its spelling and what is its usage. Then if you go on practicing the passive vocabulary repeatedly, then your passive vocabulary gradually converted into your active vocabulary. Active vocabulary is the vocabulary that is related to the bank of a person's vocabulary, that he can use these words effortlessly, situationally and contextually. We have commanding over the meaning and the spelling and even the pronunciation of our active vocabulary. So try to concentrate on transforming your passive vocabulary into active vocabulary. Okay. The more you practice your passive vocabulary, the more you develop your active vocabulary. Then do not depend on spelling rules. Most of the time students will ask us, sir, are there any rules for the spelling? Yes, there are some rules, but they will not work out in all the situations. As I said earlier, each and every word is unique one. Yes, some students may try to learn the Varnamala and Bharakadi even in English, but there is no such type of thing in English. Yes, if you learn that, in Telugu it is Gunintalu and in Hindi it is Bharakadi, you can write the names of the people or the proper nouns only, but you can't predict the spelling of verbs and some other related words in English. So that's why don't try to depend on the spelling rules. Yes, they will work for some extent only. Yes, the last but not least, that is learn the phonetics of English. It will make you to speak the correct English with correct accent, and then not only that, this is very much helpful to us to predict the spelling of the English words. Yes, before going to conclude, let me focus on some of the important aspects covered by our students in their project. You see, we dictated a simple statement to our students of first year of our college in our project, that is received all my original certificates. We asked them to dictate, we dictated them this statement to the students. But the interesting thing is that out of 100, most of the students have written this simple statement in an erroneous manner. Some students committed or made a mistake in the most simple word receive. Yes, some students have written CI instead of writing CE. It's okay, but the funny thing is that some students have written instead of C, they have written yes. Yes, obviously, this is because in English there is no letter to sound correspondence. In some words, C gives S sound and S also gives S sounds. So probably the students who have written the spelling of received as RES might have thought that S also gives S sound. And the interesting thing is that most of the students have made a mistake regarding the word original, ORIGINAL. Some students have written the spelling of this word as virginal, because in our daily life we pronounce this word ORIGINAL as virginal. Some speakers among us, they pronounce this word as original. So based on this one, this pronunciation, the students have written the spelling of original as VARGI, and some students have written VORGI. And the interesting thing is that even in certificate, some students have written the spelling of certificate starting with S instead of starting with C, and some students have written certificate instead of F, they have written PH, instead of K, some students have written C double. So this is happening just because of the students may have thought that C also gives a SA sound and S also gives SA sound. Okay. So these are the problems generally we face while pronouncing the words of English, and while writing the words we feel this difficulty because English is a non-phonetic language, because there is no letter to sound correspondence. In our Telugu and in Hindi, the number of letters in the alphabet are equal to the number of sounds in that language. But whereas in English, the number of letters in the alphabet are 26, but the sounds are 44. So one sound is producing, one letter is producing more than one sound. So here, until and unless we concentrate on the pronunciation of English, it's not possible for us to spell correctly the words of English. By these remarks, we would like to conclude. Thank you. I would like to invite questions from the viewers.